Manchester United news and transfer news, and Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is imminent. This is a word that means it's going to happen extremely soon, and it's coming from Bild in Germany, who are the outlet on Sunday night who was speaking about the instalments of the deal and are an outlet that has been hyped up this week as being very close to the Jadon Sancho transfer. Now, it's interesting this is, because if this is anywhere near true, we're still stuck in this world of in-betweeners. You know, I like the in-betweeners. It's a very good programme. But we are stuck in this world of in-betweeners because there is another outlet in Germany this morning called @SZ on Twitter. I can't pronounce what they are, but they're an outlet with 1.6 million followers. And they're saying that Manchester United will not sign Jadon Sancho because the price is prohibitive. It's too much at 120 million euros. And they said that the British media are running away with themselves. And I just thought, hold on a minute, like, are we now just lost in a pool of nonsense? Because this German outlet is saying that United can't afford him, but then Bild, the last time I checked, are not a British media outlet, who literally late last night said the deal is imminent. So they're contradicting each other in Germany now. I think the British press have been very reserved about this, as we saw with the briefing from United on Tuesday night, that there is a long way away from this deal and terms have not been agreed. You've got Fabrizio Romano obviously saying terms have been agreed and talks will continue. Where are we at with Jadon Sancho? And I tell you what, I'd love to be able to give you the definitive answer, and I think we will hopefully get some clarity today. My belief is what we've always said, is that the terms of the deal have been agreed for a long time. The terms with Sancho have been agreed for a long time, relatively long time. I mean, I'm not saying they've been agreed for months, but in a week is a long time in a transfer. We're only on Thursday morning. So I feel that the terms have been agreed between the player and the club, and I think we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's on this deal. And the reason I think that is because if Bild are right and it's imminent, an imminent deal doesn't... A Jadon Sancho deal, I've said this so many times, a Jadon Sancho deal does not get done from not being done on Tuesday night to being done on Thursday. It's the biggest deal we've ever done. It's been worked on for a very long time. And you don't just go on Tuesday night, we won't give you 120 million euros, to Thursday, we will give you 120 million euros. The structure of this deal will probably have taken at least 2 weeks to work on. And the structure of the deal will, I believe, have been agreed. The personal terms have been agreed according to Fabrizio Romano. We must also take into account, though, that there is some trepidation coming from the British press. And I certainly do think that there may need to be some patience on this deal in relation to a lot of people are going to get their hopes up for tomorrow. Now, if it happens tomorrow, what we were told 2 days ago from our source is absolutely nailed on, that the club have been working on this all week. And that it's basically just about holding off for the perfect announcement date. I must admit there are people out there that I also listen to who are saying Friday's unrealistic. We'll wait and see what happens, but I feel that today is going to be a big day because Manchester United don't have a game. I think the game yesterday sort of took away from this transfer, and I think today everyone's focus is going to be on that. We've got a game on Monday night, which is a big game, a quarter-final game. Monday is the 10th, which is the deadline that Dortmund have set. But ultimately on Sancho, do I feel... this is totally my opinion. I think it's very, very close. I still think that it will be announced very, very soon. I'm not going to commit to tomorrow, although you probably feel that I am. But I just feel we're very close. As I said, I think Fabrizio Romano has got that tweet in his drafts ready to go, which will be the biggest tweet there's ever been. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I don't feel concerned. I don't feel that we're not going to do this deal. I think United have to do this deal. I think they know they've got to do the deal, and I think Dortmund know that United need to do the deal. Have a gut feeling it will happen tomorrow. New kit launch number 7. Feel is there a more perfect time to announce him, says Joshua Bowater. And look, I think the club can say what they like, and I've got a lot of respect for Manchester United Football Club, and I think they're doing a really good job at the moment on and off the pitch. But I understand why they want it to be kept quiet and patience. And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, I still think it will happen very, very soon. But you know, it's like Christmas Eve, isn't it? Today's like Christmas Eve, where you think you're going to get the old PS4 tomorrow, and your parents keep saying we can't afford it. We're driving round in a rusty old Cortina. We can't afford a PS4, and you're like, I'll see you in the morning. And they're like, shit, we're really not going to get him the PS4. We're going to give him a jigsaw of a PS4. And you're walking around like a boss going, I hope you've got me some good games as well. I know what's happening tomorrow, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I am very excited about what's going to happen, and we will see. Miles Witt is the latest member of the United Stand Members Club, and United have released an official statement confirming Sanchez has moved to Inter. What a day. We're going to talk about that, Karim Sabu. Sancho deal is done. I think it's media hype. I think United need an aerial threat. I think Richarlison could be a rotation player for United as Gaz Hardy. What I will say is that, and I tried to talk about this on the watch along last night, I don't think Manchester United are going to do other deals other than Sancho. I'll be very surprised. I'm going to be that person who says I think Sancho will be it. I do. I don't think there'll be anything else, and I will keep expectation down until I hear something positive. Otherwise, I do just feel that the Sancho deal will be it, because I do look at what's going on at Arsenal, laying people off. COVID-19 is a very realistic thing, but on the other hand, the Sancho deal just has to begin. I mean, Daz OW says, get it done an hour before City game. They tried it last night with Aki, but no one cared. Exactly. Well, my tweet is out there from probably Monday or Tuesday, and I said, 7 o'clock on the 7th, Jadon Sancho, number 7, an hour before City play a big game. We will melt down Twitter and social media, and no one will care about Man City against Real Madrid. So I would do that if I was United. They did try to do it to us. I would do it to them, 100%. So yeah, if you're joining in a little bit late, we've still got lots to get through, but Bild in Germany. This is not English media. There is one German outlet, which is at SZ. I can't pronounce their full name, 1.6 million followers on Twitter, and they're saying that it's too expensive for any club. And the English media are running away with this deal because it's too expensive for Manchester United. But it's not the English media that's running away with this deal. I've got to put my hands up and say the English media have been very reserved on this. It's Bild, it's Jan Åge Fjørtoft, it's Christian Falk, it's Fabrizio Romano. They are not the English media. They are the ones telling us this deal is going to get done. It's Bild who said last night that this deal is imminent, and they've had very good connections with this transfer. And what is Bild's and what is the motivation of Bild? Like, what is their motivation to say that this deal is imminent? They're not an English outlet. Their loyalty will be to the German club. Their links will be with the German club. So why would they be putting out that it's imminent? It makes no sense for Dortmund to let Bild know that this deal is imminent. Why would you do that? Why would Manchester United leak it to Simon Stone that a Pogba move to Real Madrid is imminent, and then the Real Madrid press are saying we're quite far away? You know that deal's happening, because for Manchester United to leak to a British outlet that we're going to sell Pogba wouldn't make sense unless we were going to sell Pogba. So Sancho is going to go. I just think for me, it's just when it's going to happen. And as I said on Tuesday night when we did the video saying that the Sancho terms have been agreed, that wasn't just the deal with Sancho. That was the Manchester United Dortmund deal. That's what we were told. We're going to stand by that. And, you know, we're going to go all in with that. That terms of the contract, the terms of the deal were agreed, and these next couple of days are about getting him over for a medical, getting the deal announced, and timing. And I still think that's going to be the case. I expect this deal to be done by Monday. I'd be stunned if it's not. And I still think that from what we were told, United are working on it. They're getting things prepped for a big announcement, and I do think it will be tomorrow. I mean, I won't be surprised if it's not, but I do think it's tomorrow. I think everything's working towards that. I think United, quite rightly, are reserved. You know, anything can go wrong. Of course it can, even when you're crossing the I's and dotting the T's. A T can become an L if you do the wrong line. If you cross the T at the wrong place, it becomes an L. And that's true, but I think it is that close. I think it literally is the final bits of this deal. But it's such a big deal. I think United are just a little bit nervous, and they do want the big fanfare of it, which they deserve, which Sancho deserves, which we deserve. Do you think Lingard's getting a lot of screen time to show him to the market? I'm a bit conflicted. Are they looking to keep him by getting involved? Last night kind of felt like a goodbye, says Joshua Bowwater. I'm going to talk about that because Paul Scholes spoke about that. Change the song to We've Got Sancho, Paul Pogba and Fred. Marcus Rashford is Mank born and bred. We've got Sancho, Paul Pogba and Fred. Marcus Rashford is Mank born and bred. That's a good one, Shiam. I'd like to get Bruno and Martial in there, but maybe we need a new song. Mark, Sport Witness claims that the translation in the Bild report is wrong, says Aaron. Okay, well maybe we can have a look at that. We can have a look at that while we're live because it's a very important thing. Obviously, we're going to talk about, while I'm having a look at that, let's have a look at the Alexis Sanchez official leaving of Manchester United. I mean, I think this in itself would be a rather big deal if we didn't have other big deals to work on. But I also think that I'm just so over the moon that Alexis Sanchez is gone. It's the wages. I mean, people will talk about how much we've paid Alexis Sanchez. Of course they will. But ultimately for me, this was a deal I didn't think that we could do. I didn't think anybody would take Alexis Sanchez offers. So to get rid of him, even though we're not getting any money for him, we are getting money for him because we're saving like a couple of million a month. So it's fantastic in relation to that. Okay, so Sudesh Zeitung, which is SC, a Munich newspaper, have taken a sledgehammer to the transfer, claiming Sancho will probably stay with Dortmund. The first part of their article slams the English media collectively, which seems a little unfair in this case for spreading fake news about the move. They state the financial impact of COVID-19 on football will partly be to blame for what they think is a likely failure of a deal. Then the real hammer comes in a quote from Hans-Joachim Watzke and Dortmund's managing director. So far there has been no contact between Dortmund and Manchester United in terms of Sancho. And they follow the crucial bit from Wax, also not directly or through alleged intermediaries. I mean, that's on Sport Witness about SZ. I can't see anything about the build thing, so we just have to go with it. We'll have to go with it. I still stand on what we think. And we'll stand and fall on that. Christian Falk has already tweeted about a replacement for Jadon Sancho this morning. I think you're gonna go. I think on the Sancho deal, you're gonna believe it's basically done, or you're gonna believe it's nowhere near done, or you're gonna believe it's not gonna be done. I believe it's done effectively. I think it's just literally crossing the I's and dotting the T's, and whether that takes a week or whatever, because it could do, or whether it takes 2 days, that's what I believe to be true. So are you going to be surprised if the total amount is less than 120 million euros combined? Because if it's less, United have done their job, says Robert McCormack. And Michael Zorg has said there has been no talks with United and expects Sancho to train on Monday. Well, he actually said that last night. We were spoken about that last night. That's from Kamshik. But let me just go back to Alexis Sanchez. Do you think Sancho's fee will affect his form? Says Matt Carroll. No. But these are things we need to talk about when it's official. So Alexis Sanchez has officially left Manchester United. This is great news. Absolutely great news. The 400k a week that he's on will no longer be a burden to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Manchester United. He did need to go, and we're very, very happy about that. 11 minutes ago, Manchester United have issued a club statement in relation to Alexis Sanchez. So, look, it's done and dusted. And actually, I think if we weren't so fatigued by this Sancho deal, and we weren't so focused on this Sancho deal, if there was no Sancho deal, and this was just Alexis Sanchez going, I think we would be live now going, get in, take your piano, get out, and never come back. And we might end up playing them in the final of the Europa League, and I hope we do. And I hope he plays against us. And I hope Harry Maguire does a job on him in a legal sense, not illegal. But I'm just so happy he's gone. For me, I know there was always fans in the fan base, and you've got to be even-handed with this. There was always fans in the fan base who, when it came to Alexis Sanchez, always felt that he could come back and be a decent player for us. And I don't get to Old Trafford as much as I used to, but I have been up to Old Trafford over the time when Sanchez was there. I think the last time I saw him play, he went off injured, which was against Southampton. He was shocking. He was trying to make the runs. Pogba was seeing the passes, but he couldn't get there. He'd lost at least a yard of pace. He was no longer a Premier League footballer. He was a burden. I don't think he actually integrated himself well at Manchester United. And I think everyone will be happy to see the back of him. And again, it just shows that ruthlessness from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that if there was any inkling that this player had anything in him, why would you let him go? But from very early on, it was very clear that Ole wanted to get rid of him. And I'm very happy that he's gone. And we must bathe in that win for a little bit, because whatever's going on with Sancho, the Sanchez removal from the club is probably... Look, Sancho will be the signing of the summer. The next signing of the summer is probably getting rid of Sanchez, and I mean that. Unless we are going to do a Grealish, which I'll talk about in a minute, Sancho will be the signing of the summer across the world. The second signing for Manchester United of the summer will be getting rid of Sanchez, which is what we've done. I think it's a huge thing. I really do think the club, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, deserve a massive, massive amount of credit for getting rid of him. Of course, there's questions that will always be asked about bringing him in the first place, but that was a different manager. That was Jose Mourinho, and it was definitely naivety from the people who were negotiating. But in life, you must always allow people to have a second chance and learn from their mistakes. And the fact is, we haven't compounded this error very much. We got rid of him to Inter for a year. That was the right thing to do, because now he's gone to Inter on a permanent deal. This is a very, very good deal for Manchester United to remove Alexis Sanchez, remove the wages. He's gone. He's never coming back. It's fantastic. So we should be very happy about that this morning. I understand the trepidation and nerves around the Sancho thing and the uncertainty, but trust me, Alexis Sanchez leaving this club is fantastic. Ollie, the club, deserve a massive amount of credit. I don't really care what Sanchez does with his career. There's very few players I say this about. I even wished Fellaini all the best. I didn't like him as a footballer, but I think as a person, he was a nice guy who always gave his best for United. Di Maria, Alexis Sanchez, I don't wish you all the best. Whatever you do is irrelevant. I don't wish you bad will. I don't wish you injury. I think that's disgusting. But I don't wish them all the best. You did not deliver in a shirt. In many ways, I think you disrespected the shirt, which disrespects our football club, which disrespects our fans. You're gone. I'm glad. Get out. Don't come back. The deal for Sancho will significantly speed up today now Sanchez is gone, says T. Twitter will be relentless today and tomorrow. Can see him signing tomorrow. And Liam Honeybin, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Hi, Mark. Love the United Stand. Keep up the great work. Is there any news on Pogba getting a new contract, says Lewis Lee? There is. I've just not really discussed about it. And I've known for a while now what's happening with the Pogba contract. But we will get around to talking it at some point. But there's very little value in me dropping what's happening about Pogba when we're in the midst of everything else that's going on. But there will be some updates on that to come. Probably not till next week now. Johan says, unpopular opinion, but I feel Dortmund are being unrealistic about this 120 million transfer fee. That being said, I guess this is the world we live in. We need a CDM as well. How will we get all this done? We won't get it all done, Johan. We won't. We have to acknowledge the world we live in, which is a COVID-19 world, and we have to acknowledge that Manchester United are going to commit a huge amount of money in a time when people don't have a lot of money on Jadon Sancho. And actually, they might say, that's it. Door closed. And I've said this for a number of weeks and months now. I said it in lockdown. It might just be Sancho. I know everyone's saying 2 or 3 signings, and hopefully we will do that. But to me, you get Sancho done, and that might well be it. That was Chris Owen says Sancho for Mkhitaryan was a terrible deal. Yeah, but look, if it does get announced tomorrow, if there is massive progression today, go back to the video we did on Tuesday night at 4 o'clock about terms being done between Dortmund and United, and now it's about crossing the T's and dotting the I's, because that information that came through Draughty Devil, which came through somebody else who's delivered time after time, will be absolutely nailed on. And this is the person who told us about Agallo before the press even knew about it. This is the person who said at 9 o'clock in the morning Wan-Bissaka will be announced at midday, and it was. Very, very good information from this person, and you know, I'm increasingly confident that they're going to be right. Even when the meltdown happened on Tuesday night, when all the British press got briefed by the club that, you know, it's not Nia, that person was like, I don't care. This is happening, and it's going to happen very, very soon. It's just a brief. So we'll see. We'll see. It'd be nice to be right. Arsenal going to pay 100k a week for Willian, but have to lay off staff. Shocking stuff, says Stephen Alexander B. Well, I don't think the players at Arsenal are happy about that either. I think it's wrong that you lay off staff and then you go and buy a player on 100k a week. It's wrong, isn't it? You just don't. You use that 100k a week to keep the people in a job, and you don't get Willian. But the rich get richer and the poor lose their jobs. Jay Rosell, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Afik says, hi Mark, I'm curious about what you think about Dan James with Sancho coming in and Greenwood progressing. How do you see Dan James fitting into the team, even as a squad player? And do you see it going to September the 7th because it's Ed, says Shiam. Look, never say never, mate. Never say never. I'm going to talk about Gabriel in a minute. Just on Dan James, I've always said that next season's the big season for Dan James. I know it's been a very roller coaster for him, but it's a big adjustment. And ultimately, look, can I just give you the worst case scenario with Dan James here? If he flops at Manchester United and it doesn't work out, what did we say when we bought him? 15 million quid. It's a gamble worth taking. And I don't necessarily think Dan James will flop, but he's got to improve his football intelligence. Like, there was times yesterday where he was getting the ball on the right-hand side. He's got to get his head up and whip it first time. He's taking 2 or 3 touches, and if he hits it first time, Agallo's got a tap in. By the time he takes 2 or 3 touches, he can't even get the cross in, Agallo's marked. So it's just, he's got the attributes to be very, very useful for United. He's training with the right sort of people, but his ceiling may not be a top 4 Premier League club, and he may not be a Manchester United squad player. But I think next season's a big season for Dan James. When can we expect Sancho in the UK? Is he announced tomorrow? Love your work, keep it up, says Greg Dunbar. Just keep your eye out for what's happening today. I mean, he's not going to be announced tomorrow if he isn't moving from Germany today, really. He's got to do his medical, unless he flew in the morning. But I think there'll be some big announcements today. We've got a good interview coming up for you this afternoon, about 2 o'clock. Keep your eyes open for that. Make sure you're subscribed, got your notifications on, because it will be a good interview. Mark, what's the obsession with us needing a 9 when Liverpool destroyed the league with Firmino? Says Gambit. And Mark, who is Sancho's agent? Says Clive. I can't pronounce the name, but if you Google it, you will find it very, very quickly. Just on a couple of stories that are very interesting, actually, just to wander away from Sancho for a moment or two. Tahith Chong impressed a lot of people last night. He's going on loan to Werder Bremen. I think this is a good thing. Well, he's not definitely going to Werder Bremen, but his agent has said that Tahith wants to go to the Bundesliga. Obviously, he's only just signed a new contract, so we won't be selling him. But a loan move to the Bundesliga and Werder Bremen, you know, I personally think I'd like to see him in the Championship. He'd probably get a little bit more protection in the Bundesliga, but I'd say that the Bundesliga quality is better than the Championship. So if you can get first team football for Werder Bremen, who are not a great Bundesliga side, but a sort of mid to high table team, I think this would be a very good loan move for Tahith Chong. So it's a big thumbs up from me if we can do this deal. Tahith Chong, Werder Bremen on loan for a year, very good. I don't want to see him near the first team squad. I don't think having a couple of games a season is going to help him. He needs to play like 30 games. So Tahith Chong, Werder Bremen, Reiss Nelson, obviously Sancho himself, Matundo, Bellingham's there now. We know that it's a very good league for developing youth talent. So I think this is another real positive. If this can happen, I don't know what people think. I thought the Championship for Chong, but maybe the Championship may be a little bit too intense for him. Bundesliga's got a little bit more quality to it. Him being a flair player, I think it'd be a very good move. Why should we only do one deal when City with their department are going for 5 and have done 2 good deals already? Different desire to win, says Najib. No, I think it's just money, mate. Like, City have done 2 deals, but they've only spent 60 million quid. We're going to do one deal and spend 100 million quid. So it's all about what your budget is. You know, we could do 3 or 4 deals and spend the same money we're going to spend on Sancho, but sometimes it's quantity but sometimes it's quality over quantity. No issue with Dan James, valued squad player, and he has his uses. People forget he ran City and Liverpool ragged, says Robert McCormack. Is the Sancho deal too big to be announced pending a medical if it's not 100% complete, even if it means we can announce it before the City game, says Michael Pedley. We could announce it before a medical, you're right, but I think if you're going for the Razzmatazz number 7 thing, you need him holding the shirt up. And if he's holding the shirt up, he's got to have done the medical because he's got to be at Carrington. So it's tight. It's tight. That's why I'm not going to say put your house on it's going to happen tomorrow. I think there's a good chance it will happen tomorrow because that's the information that we've been getting. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's not tomorrow. It's tight, isn't it? It's Thursday morning. It's Friday tomorrow. Medical's not been done. Photography can be done quite quick, but the medical needs to be done. Do you think that Sancho could do his medical in Germany as the squad is heading there for the Europa League, says Arcon UK? Yeah, I don't know when we're heading to Germany, though, so that will be interesting. Also, just on Jesse Lingard, I don't know what a lot of people saying that they quite like the idea about Chong going on loan to Werder Bremen. DG Footy says, Werder Bremen is a good deal. I can track him and our American defender, Brook. So I think a lot of people are quite happy about that. Also, Ricardo Fidalgo says, I've already bet my house on it happening tomorrow, so it needs to happen or I'm homeless. Villa career mode will be today, Jamie, at 4 o'clock. But Paul Scholes speaking about Jesse Lingard last night and basically said, Jesse's a really good lad, he's a good talent, he's better than what he's been doing over the last 2 years. I trained him in the reserves, I played with him. He's a good player, but I don't think he's a United player anymore, and I don't think he's happy to be a United squad player. So for me, taking him off after an hour, then I think that we are in a situation whereby it looks to Scholesy like Lingard's going to go. Now, what I said on the watch-along last night when Lingard came off was there was a disappointment that wouldn't be Jesse-like to be disappointed about being subbed. It was almost a subdued disappointment, almost like as he played his last game at Old Trafford. The happiness from the goal that effectively wasn't a brilliant finish. It was a bit of a deflected finish, but he was very happy about it. And then when he came off, it felt like he was a little bit subdued. Now, I personally think they're going to give a new contract to Jesse and he will be here next year. But Scholesy's saying that he thinks that he's going to go. He said, I might have read it completely wrong, but I think he's going to go. So, look, it's only opinion. We all know what Scholesy said before the game about we need a number 9 as a priority, and then after the game he's saying how brilliant Martial is. So you know, Paul Scholes is just sort of like any United fan, isn't he? We can change our minds very quickly. But look, Lingard could be going. Mino Raiola's been brought in as his agent. Mino Raiola will be after two things: a very lucrative contract or a very lucrative transfer. I don't think United can offer him a lucrative contract. So why has Raiola been brought in by Lingard? So what I would say is Lingard scored 2 goals in 2 games. I don't think he's moved the earth with either performance, but he's certainly put himself in the shop window a bit, and it might have pricked up the ears of some people who go, you know what, I see a player that can come into our team and improve us with potential. He's 28 this year, so I think it's now or never for Lingard, and it's whether he's going to be brave enough to make that decision. Luke says the Build report is false. Falk did not even retweet it. He doesn't always retweet the Build things, to be fair. So yeah, that's it on Lingard. Keep Lingard, prove that he's a great backup for the Champions League, says Ultimatum. How's he proved that he's a great backup for the Champions League when we've not even been in the Champions League? And also, can I just say on that, why has he shown that he's a great backup when for the last 18 months we didn't have Bruno? Lingard was given his opportunities like Pereira and Mata, and we were absolutely terrible at creating chances. I think the evidence shows that none of those players are actually good enough. I mean, I saw people yesterday saying, oh, Pereira's brilliant, look at his silky skills. Oh yeah, his silky skills that led to next to nothing. Like, against a Farmers team that was going all out attack. I mean, I do think that you've got to contextualise the opposition yesterday and the opportunities some of these players have had. I am not convinced that, you know, if I'm in charge of Manchester United and we've got the money, I'm buying a Cam. I'm buying a centre attacking midfielder. I'm buying Van der Beek or I'm buying Grealish to compete or back up Bruno. That's what I'm doing. That's what we need. We can pretend that Lingard, Pereira and Mata are good enough, but we've been pretending that for 2 years. Bruno gets tired, Bruno gets injured. You're using one of those 3 players and they're just not good enough. I know Ricky gave Mata man of the match yesterday. Maybe he was technically man of the match. But did he grab hold of a game against a very poor side and run it? No, he didn't. He made as many mistakes as anybody else did. So they're not good enough. They're not players that you would even trust against West Ham, let alone Bayern Munich. So we need better in that area. I'm not sure that we will go for that because of the outlay on Sancho. But then again, Sancho could play where Bruno plays. You could put Greenwood on the right. You could put Rashford on the left, Martial up front, and Sancho could play where Bruno is more centrally for a game. So that is an option. Unpopular, but why didn't we give Lingard a chance? He's justified his performance for off the pitch reasons, so it's not talent related. He was decent before the drop. Why not more seasons? Says Nathan Morton. Well, look, I like Lingard. If he stays, he stays. If he goes, I think that's the right decision, as I've said before. But I don't agree that he's been in. You know, he's obviously had off the field issues, and I think that's very, very sad. But if you're actually honest, he's been poor on the pitch for 2 years. Like 2 years, he's been poor. When he's talking about his off-field problems, these are things that have been going on for the last sort of 8 months since last summer. But he was bad the season before that as well. I've not noticed his form from 2 years ago being any better than it is now. So for me, it's a long journey with Lingard. He had that great period for 2 or 3 months where he was Messi Lingard, and then the 2 years after it, he's been very, very poor. That's the evidence I would use if I was Ollie, but look, I'm not. Bendia would be a good addition if we need squad depth, says Naveen. I don't want a relegated player. Hi Mark, how are you? I heard Gabriel chose Arsenal over us. It's very bad news. I thought he would be a very good signing for us. He looks good, your say. Well, he hasn't chosen Arsenal over Manchester United. Read what Fabrizio Romano said about Gabriel. He said Manchester United, Napoli and Arsenal are all involved. Arsenal and Napoli have spoken to Lille about it. Manchester United have only spoken to his agent. It's all about who's going to make the move. So, of course, if he goes to Arsenal, Arsenal say, yeah, he chose us over United. But United haven't approached Lille. Arsenal have. So, he's not chosen us over them because we've not approached Lille. We've spoken to his agent. We've had talks with his agent, according to Fabrizio. But we have not approached Lille. Arsenal have. So maybe United have spoken about it and thought, you know, he's not the right player for us, or we can't afford that player. So until you go to the club, you're not really doing the deal, if you know what I mean. Let's have a look if there's any other updates for us while we're actually live. Please smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Big interview coming up for you around lunchtime today. Probably have it up for 2 o'clock. Nothing really doing Inter confirm Alexis Sanchez. Of course, that's breaking. I mean, I just saw on Twitter there the clip of him playing the piano. It makes me want to build a bonfire and burn the piano. Obviously, Alexis not on the fire. We remove him from a safe distance from the fire, but petrol the piano and burn it. I mean, bloody hell. One of the most embarrassing, definitely one of Manchester United's most embarrassing transfers ever, but certainly one of the most embarrassing transfers ever in the Premier League history, which is why it's a great relief off our shoulders, because Man City wanted this player, Alexis Sanchez. We basically doubled the wages that City offered, 400k a week. We sat him down at piano. We unveiled it. Look, I was excited at the time. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I was excited at the time. Like every other United fan, I thought we were getting the Alexis Sanchez that was brilliant for Arsenal. Arsenal fans, if you speak to them, will say, actually, the 6 months before that, he was pretty crap. We just got him too late. We got him 2 or 3 years too late. He just wasn't that player anymore. I mean, he was very good at Arsenal for a couple of years. He was one of the best players in the league. But we bought him as a dud. He was on the way down. He was a bad signing and an embarrassing signing. But the thing about mistakes is if you move quickly to eradicate that mistake, then you've got to give credit to the club. Bruno gets injured, God forbid. Pogba goes cam and Fred fills in. LF Gamer. Fred has shown he can do a job over last year. We need a CDM to replace Matic. Yeah, well, look, a lot of people were saying that McTominay wasn't great last night, which I think is fair to say. I mean, there are some reports about Idrissa Gueye from PSG, obviously formerly of Everton, and United being interested in him. I mean, look, I feel like the Idrissa Gueye thing is more about... I think that's more about Man United's name being used. I don't think we're in for Idrissa Gueye. But what I would say about Idrissa Gueye, and certainly last season when he was at Everton, he always tops the statistics. And look, stats to me are a little bit hit and miss. But for tackles and ball recoveries, which is obviously what you want in a CDM. He's a little bit old. I think he's 30 now. But, I mean, would you bring Ander Herrera back? Probably not, to be fair. But... I don't know. I do think that United probably want Declan Rice, which will make Saeed happy. But I think Manchester United probably want someone like Declan Rice, who is unobtainable this summer. So, but I would agree. I just don't think McTominay is a centre defensive midfielder. I just don't think. I think that's why he's performing badly. I think we're asking him to do a job he can't do. McTominay for me is good in the Pogba role, the more box to box position, but sitting and dictating the play. I don't know whether he's too tall for it. I don't know whether he hasn't got the football intelligence for it. I don't know whether he hasn't got the speed or the ball distribution for it. But I think McTominay's better when he's on the edge, sort of 100 miles an hour, back and forward, breaking up the play. A centre defensive midfielder is more disciplined. You think about the Carricks and the Matic's of this world, the Fabinhos. They don't have to run around 100 miles an hour because they're covering space, they're reading the game. And I don't think it's fair on McTominay to assume that he can do that. When his attributes have always been scoring goals, he scores goals, but he's very box to box. He can make a tackle, but then he's running up the other end, he's driving forward. You don't do that as a CDM. So I'd cut McTominay a little bit of slack because I feel that he's been turned from potentially one thing into something that he doesn't look like he is. I mean, it's a bit like, I know CDM and box-to-box are around the same area, but it's a bit like asking a number 10 to play up front. A number 10 is used to finding space and little one-touch passing, and a centre-forward has got to deal with big, hefty strikers and centre-backs and, running the channels. They're very close, a number 10 and a striker. Some people can do both, and they play very, very close proximity, just like a CDM and a box-to-box player, but they're very different disciplines. And I think McTominay is suffering from the different disciplines. But time will tell. Are we trying to put a square peg in a round hole with McTominay as a CDM? Or is it just time to adjust to a new role? Time will tell. At the moment, he doesn't look anything like it to me. But we will see. We will see. We need to sack Ollie and bring Tony Mowbray in, says Pete P. Wow. And it's not all roses as long as the Glazers are in charge. We will always have cancer attached to our great club, says Red Baron. And this transfer window will reveal how good Ali actually is, says Yusuf. And Fred could be our holding CDM. Look at these games. He's tenacious, says Hader Official. I've always said I think Fred has got more attributes to be a CDM than McTominay, but United clearly don't want to go down that route. I mean, the problem with Fred is his first touch can be a bit loose. And as a CDM, you can't have them receiving the ball from the keeper with their back to goal and it bouncing off them, because we're going to concede goals. So I do understand the reservations about that as well. James Fergie says, what about Tellez? The rumour about Tellez, the Porto left-back, as a signing for United, I don't think we're going to sign any left-backs, to be honest. And I just think that's paper talk, to be honest. Welcome, Christopher Halverson, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. What's the update on Sancho, Mark? It's at the start of the video and the middle of the video. I can't go through that again. I'll check and see if there's any new updates before we move off air. But make sure you subscribe to bottom right-hand corner, and make sure you smash a like on the video, because we've got a good interview coming up for you at lunchtime. And as well, if anything else happens before then, we'll definitely be live as well. So thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Thanks to all the moderators, and looking forward for the content we've got for you at lunchtime. Should have some Sancho update for you then. And I will speak to you all in a bit. Interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know what's definitely going to happen. I can only go with what we've been told, which is this is very, very close. And obviously, but some people are trying to distance themselves from this. So let's see what's going to happen. I'm still totally confident it's going to happen, and happen very soon. Speak to you in a bit.